In a market after 8 years, they crossed each other. In that crowd, she didn't notice him. It was then her 6-year-old daughter who saw him and at once pulled her mama's sari and claimed, "Mama, he looks like the same guy in your college album, your best friend." She looked down upon her child and asked politely, "What is it, my dear?" "Mama," said the excited daughter pointing towards the flower shop, "over there, that uncle, your best friend." The word best friend stoked her, and at once she lifted her head and hasted her eyes. But at the very moment she was all blank. She didn't even know what to look for. So restless she became. That single word made her so impatient. It was such a helpless situation. But then her eyes fell upon the guy in the black suit, selecting roses and lilies from the store. A single sight of his presence made her heart shift its pace from beating to pounding. She could feel slight sizzling in her nose, and then some perpetual spirit made her eyes moist. She was in the market, standing few steps away from her best friend. Though her eyes got fixed on him, but what she was actually seeing was the days when he used to sit by her side in public bus. She could memorize it so well as if it was yesterday when they laughed insanely in the college campus. She lost all her sense of sight along with the sense of hearing, as a fruit vendor who was shouting the names of fruits of his stalls was no longer audible to her. She was dumbstruck and lost in past. Several days and several events rushed into her mind. Several things and thoughts made her brain to lose all the senses. Memories clutched her so tightly that automatically her lips stretched themselves, lifting up those fluffy cheeks and digging deep dimples. It was then her daughter who shook her arm and yelled, "Mama, let's go home." That little child, Aisha, didn't know how merry her mother was right now. "We will," said the mother, softly grabbing her daughter's arm. "First, let us meet that uncle." Her smile didn't fade a bit. That cheery look had returned on her face after a very long time. She was dancing inside herself. Her heart was playing the beats for her inner self. Finally, she started to walk towards him. While walking, she realized that the legs felt so light, as if she had no pain left in them. She had already walked for 2 hours in the market buying domestic items. She walked rapidly along with the little daughter. She would have run and could have punched him like old days, but today, instead of jeans, she was in sari. Today, instead of a backpack, she was holding her daughter by her side. Things have changed, and so were the situations. She was so amazed to see him on such an unexpected day. She was confused. What would she say to him today? Should she be angry? After all, he just disappeared from her life 8 years ago. Should she be polite? Should she be formal? One by one, with each step, thoughts kept popping into her brain. With each step, her thoughts kept changing their theme, but she kept her eyes fixed over her best friend. She was staring him so hard, so stiff. Suddenly, she stopped. She released a deep breath, turned back, hired a rickshaw and headed home. She did not meet him. In the evening, 5 o'clock, Sanjeev returned home, and little Aisha rushes towards him, and the father goes down on his knees, hugs her little princess, picks her up and asked, "What all mischief my princess did today?" "I went for shopping with Mama." "Oh, what things did you buy?" The little girl stated vegetables, ice creams, perfume, mangoes. With each item, her finger unlocked themselves from the first one by one. "And do you know, Papa?" continued the little girl. "We saw Mama's best friend today." "Mama's best friend?" said a surprised father gazing at his daughter. "Aisha," yelled mother entering the room, "it's Kavya at the line." Girl jumped out of the lap of her father and ran out of the room. Mother looked down to see her child running towards the landline. She noticed that how her daughter got excited after listening that her best friend called her today. best friend. Something said this word so clearly inside her. She then turned towards her husband who was staring at her. He looked serious. Lines at his forehead and his inclined eyebrows revealed that soon she is going to have a serious talk with him. "You met Deva today?" inquired the husband softly. He had his care doped in his voice and politeness in his tone. "No, just saw him," she replied with remorse. "Just saw him?" "Yes, he was in the market," she answered. She tried to sound firm and strong, but her voice and eyes showed that the emotions had the upper hand. She dipped herself in the market scene, memorizing how she stood few steps away from him at the flower shop. Seeing her wife lost in thoughts made him to stand and walk towards the door where she was still standing, clutching her fingers into a fist and piercing nails in her palms. She was trying hard to keep herself calm, but then the tears came out. She had fought hard with herself to keep those tears inside, but it seemed memories made her release that pain through those droplets. Her husband grabbed her shoulders and made her to sit at the nearest sofa. As soon as she sat, she started sobbing. Sanjeev pulled his wife towards him gently and kept her head on his chest. This was the best thing in their life. When the man used to put his wife's head on his chest, patting on her head. They both loved this. They were silent. Everything was calm and quiet. Nothing made a sound except the song of crickets. "Why didn't you meet him?" he whispered in her ear. That tickled her. Husband continued, "You have told me so many endless stories about him, which had made me enthusiastic to meet him. And you being his best friend, didn't meet him? You don't have an ego problem, I know, my dear. You're not even bounded by any rules. Then why didn't you meet him? Tell me, dear, what's the matter?" Wife lifted herself and looking deep into the eyes of his loving husband. He was the only person who knows exactly how to treat her, how to comfort her, and how to love her. She knew it well that her husband never liked to hear the stories or to talk about Deva, but for the sake of a smile, he always listened to her. But she was now required to answer. So she calmed herself and started telling that why she didn't meet her best friend.